think angels and demons are the most mysterious beings in the Bible? That may not necessarily be true. Hidden behind it are supernatural beings with unimaginable power, enough to strike terror into anyone who hears of them. The blazing red train wheels, the colossal war machine rising from the chaos, and the fiery sword-wielding creature guarding the gate of heavenly fire. Let's explore what they truly are and uncover the profound message hidden within each story. 10. Pihimo. Pihimo is mentioned in the book of Job. Chapter 40, verses 15 to 24, describes a colossal creature of unimaginable size and strength, symbolizing the supreme power of God. The image of Pihimo emerges in the poetic verse, bowing to graze amid the green willow thicket, exuding both a powerful, majestic aura and a serene, tranquil harmony with nature. In the book of Job, God challenges Job to observe Behemoth, the creature he calls the first masterpiece of his creation. A being so mighty that no one can bind it with chains. This implies that no matter how powerful the creature may be, God remains the supreme ruler over all things in the world. Pihimo not only symbolizes the untamed power of nature, but also embodies chaos, a force only the supreme being can subdue. Through this imagery, the Bible affirms that no matter how wild and unpredictable the natural world may be, it always remains under the control of the Creator. The image of Pihimo symbolizes power and order in the natural world. At the same time, this also reminds us that human strength is minuscule in the face of nature's image. The Bible conveys that nothing in this world is beyond God. When describing Pihimo, the Lord not only displayed his creative talent, but also conveyed a profound lesson to Job and all believers. Human wisdom and power are insignificant compared to the infinite wisdom of the Creator. The image of Pihimo helps people place their pain and struggles within a broader context, awakening the realization that God's plan far surpasses all our imaginings. 9. Leviathan. Leviathan, a colossal sea monster described in the book of Job, chapter 41, stands as a powerful testament to God's absolute dominion over even the most chaotic and terrifying forces in the universe. This creature has the ability to breathe fire and possesses sharp fangs, embodying chaos and evil. The Lord's ability to control Leviathan demonstrates his infinite power. The Leviathan is not merely a terrifying creature, it also symbolizes chaos and the peril that only the power of God can subdue. The Leviathan appears in ancient tales as a symbol of the sea's might, embodying chaos and disorder. However, in the Bible, Leviathan is not merely a monster but also symbolizes the battle between good and evil. The Lord's control over Leviathan demonstrates his supreme power, affirming that the truth of goodness will ultimately triumph over all evil forces. In other prophetic passages of the Bible, particularly the book of Isaiah, chapter 27, verse 1, the Leviathan emerges as an omen, marking the moment when God punishes this slithering serpent with his mighty sword, symbolizing the destruction of all chaos and rebellion. This transforms Leviathan from merely a sea monster into a symbol of good triumphing over evil, carrying a far deeper significance. The gate firmly believes that the kingdom of God will ultimately triumph gloriously. In the book of Revelation, chapter 9, there is a terrifying depiction of locusts with tails like scorpions. These creatures emerge when the fifth angel sounds the trumpet, heralding a new phase in God's wrath during the end times. Although they resemble grasshoppers in appearance, they are not ordinary insects. They suddenly rose from the abyss, wielding the power to torment those who bore not the mark of God upon their brows. The pain they inflict doesn't kill us, but lingers like a knife wound, smoldering endlessly through the years. These creatures have shapes described as utterly bizarre, hair, and their fangs sharp as a lion. This blend creates an utterly eerie image, affirming that this is no ordinary creature. That is the special tool God uses to punish the faithless and rebellious. The Destroyer. These creatures were created for destruction. Unlike ordinary locusts that only eat grass, this swarm was tasked with tormenting precisely those whom God had designated. This demonstrates the fairness and clear purpose in God's wrath, affirming that every judgment has its reason. And the specific goal aims to serve a higher moral and spiritual value. Sati is a rather peculiar and intriguing creature mentioned in the Bible. They appear in the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 14, within the somber context of judgment and destruction. Isaiah depicts a desolate and ruined land of Edom, where those creatures wail mournfully amidst the devastation. Here are the two English translation options, depending on the desired emphasis. Sati is often depicted with a half-human, half-goat form, similar to figures in Greek mythology and ancient Lama culture. Creates a vivid and deeply symbolic image. In the Bible, Sati often appears in desolate lands, places abandoned by humans due to their sins and betrayals. They symbolize the decline in moral corruption, the consequence of humanity turning its back on God. From then on, their appearance on the abandoned lands of the feudal lords made it clear that this place had now become a domain of chaos and sin. The image of Sati in Isaiah's prophecy not only evokes a sense of dread but also deepens the mystery and ominous foreboding. Emphasize the horror and the supreme judgment of God. 6. The god Cherubim. The cherubim are angelic beings that play an extremely important role in the Bible. One of their most important duties was to guard the entrance to the Garden of Eden with a blazing fiery sword. This image appears in Genesis, chapter 3, verse 24, when Adam and Eve were driven out of the Garden of Eden for their disobedience. Cherubim standing guard at the gates of heaven symbolizes the separation between humanity and the perfection they once enjoyed. Go back to what? 7. In the visions that the prophet Ezekiel received. Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 10. Cherubim is meticulously depicted with 4 faces. That of a human, a lion, an ox, and an eagle. Each of these faces represents a different aspect of creation: humankind, wild beasts, domesticated animals, and birds, signifying that the cherubim assume the role of protecting and governing all living beings on earth. At the same time, carry out all the Lord's commands everywhere. When King Solomon's temple and the tabernacle were built, the cherubim figures were also intricately carved into the architectural details, becoming an indispensable part of the sacred space, as described in the book of Exodus, chapter 25, verses 18 to 22. And the book of Kings, chapter 6, verses 23 to 28. The cherubim are not merely gatekeepers or simple decorative figures. They hold a deeper meaning, symbolizing the sacred presence and the watchful gaze from the heavenly realm. They are the witnesses to the covenant between God and the people of Israel, and at the same time, the embodiment of his boundless protection and power for the chosen nation. In the visions, the image of the cherubim appeared upon the Lord's throne, with wheels full of eyes that could move in every direction, without needing to turn back. This implies that God is omnipresent and involved in every event in the universe. Fiery beings. They appear in the book of Prophet Isaiah, volume 6, verses 1 to 7. As a faint vision upon the throne of the Lord. The cherubim have 6 wings. 2 wings cover their faces as a sign of reverence, 2 wings cover their feet as a symbol of humility, and the remaining 2 wings are used for flying. Their radiant, fiery appearance symbolizes the purification and glory of the Lord, affirming their role in safeguarding the sanctity of worship and preserving purity within the holy sanctuary. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is filled with his glory. This sincere praise not only honors the distinctiveness and greatness of God but also affirms that his power and truth are the unshakable foundation of the universe. Prophetic mission. A seraphim angel took a burning coal from the altar and touched it to his lips, symbolizing purification and preparing Isaiah to become a messenger carrying God. The Nephilim are among the most mysterious figures in the Bible, briefly mentioned in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 4. They are described as the descendants of the sons of God and the daughters of men. A union between angels and humans led to the birth of the Nephilim, beings often depicted as giants, mighty warriors endowed with a supernatural destiny. Their appearance raises questions about the boundary between the divine and the human, and why this blending occurs. The Nephilim were one of the reasons God decided to bring about the Great Flood. Their existence is seen as a manifestation of decay and imbalance in creation, a sign of chaos spiraling out of control, compelling the Supreme Being to purge the world. The Nephilim were not merely physical giants. They also symbolized the moral and spiritual chaos of the pre-flood world. After the biblical era, stories and legends of fallen angels spread widely, becoming symbols of corruption and divine punishment. The true origin and nature of the Nephilim remain a mystery to this day, making them the subject of countless theories and debates. Nephilim. Ambiguity opens up a vast space for multifaceted interpretations, turning the Nephilim into a compelling symbol of rebellion and divine retribution in the human narrative. The mysterious Orphaneum wheel. Wheels within wheels. In Ezekiel's visions, the Orphaneum appeared as interwoven wheels, their bodies covered with countless eyes, moving ceaselessly yet without turning. They move in rhythmic harmony with the cherubim, forming part of the divine Merkava chariot, carrying the Lord himself across the universe. The wheel-shaped throne adorned with countless eyes symbolizes the ability to perceive all things, embodying the omniscient and supreme power of the Lord. Nothing can escape the watchful eyes of Orphaneum. They observe every event within the dominion, standing as a symbol of justice and the Supreme Being's all-encompassing power. Their ceaseless motion symbolizes God's unwavering will to act, manifesting his constant presence and vigilant oversight. The seamless and enduring fusion of Orphaneum and cherubim fully embodies the flawless essence and absolute order of divine justice, a fairness that never falters or errs. Through this image, the author reminds us that he is always present in our lives, whether we are aware of it or not. In the Bible, the dragon is described as one of the most powerful symbols of evil and opposition to God. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12 verses 3 to 9, the dragon is described as a massive, fiery red creature with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon its heads. This image depicts a terrifying power, brimming with might and strength, embodying chaos and immense destruction. Red symbolizes war, bloodshed, and rebellion, vividly reflecting the savage and warlike nature of dragons. In the book of Revelation, the dragon is described as none other than Satan, the one who once took the form of the ancient serpent, deceived humanity, and led all mankind into sin. In the story, the dragon leads a battle in the heavenly realm against the archangel Michael and his celestial army. Finally, the dragon was defeated and cast into the Trangion River. There, it continued to spread destruction and suffering upon those loyal to the Lord. This failure marks the beginning of Satan's brief yet devastating reign over the world, while also symbolizing the final conflict between good and evil. The image of the multi-headed, horned dragon originates from ancient legends of polycephalic creatures, symbolizing chaos and the power of malevolent forces. Heads symbolize the ambition to dominate and the defiance of the Almighty. The dragon strives to devour the newborn child of the woman clothed with the sun, a symbol of the nation of Israel and the Messianic community, further revealing its role as a destroyer, ceaselessly in pursuit. This story is not just about family conflict, but also a metaphor for the endless battle between opposing spiritual forces, what has shaped human history and profoundly impacted every individual's life. The 4 living creatures are among the most mystical and powerful images in the Bible, appearing in both Ezekiel's vision and the book of Revelation. Each creature bears a distinct face. There is a human face, a lion face, an ox face, and an eagle face. Each face embodies a distinct essence of creation, a manifestation of divine power from the Supreme Being. The human face reflects intelligence and mastery. The lion's face symbolizes strength and leadership authority. The ox face represents dedication and reliability, while the eagle face symbolizes nobility and far-reaching vision. In the vision of Ezekiel, those creatures moved in rhythm with the wheels of Ophanim beneath the throne of God. This combination shows that they play a vital role in God's plan, as messengers and executors of his will throughout the universe. When these living creatures move like a flowing stream, they display the boundless power and splendor of the Creator. In the book of Revelation, the 4 living creatures stand around God's throne and never cease to praise him. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. He was, he is, and he is to come. This unceasing worship affirms their central role in honoring and upholding the holiness of God. This is also a reminder not only for heaven, but for all creation of his absolute and eternal power. Through those creatures, one glimpses the splendor, majesty, and perfect order of the celestial realm. Every detail of this creature holds profound meaning, reflecting the greatness and solemnity of creation. And to remind that all power and life belong to him.